Okay, great. So thank you guys for joining me here for Yin Yoga this evening. I'm so happy to be here with all of you. Like I said, you might want a blanket or a pillow nearby, but it's not necessary. Find yourself in a seated position. And if at any time in class you see me like looking at my watch, I'm looking at it for timing reasons, not because I'm ignoring you. Do set aside all distractions, any cell phones or anything like that, unless you're on call, obviously, but otherwise, set aside any distractions and just allow yourself to come into the present moment. So, obviously, acknowledging for many reasons, we're kind of in a stressful time right now. And one of the gifts that yoga gives us is an opportunity to slow down. So in leadership, there's a concept of like step up and step back. And yoga is a really great opportunity to step back. And when we step back and slow down, we often can come back at our problems and our pains with renewed energy and a fresh perspective. So thank you guys for taking some time to slow down and step back with me this evening. We're going to start today again in a seated position. Feel the floor holding you up. You can sit crisscross applesauce or with your legs straight in front of you. You're welcome to have a blanket or pillow supporting your lower back. And we always start class with a breathing exercise. And today's breathing exercise is also a bit of a meditation that I'll call I am, thank you. So on the inhale breath, as you inhale through your nose, you'll say silently to yourself, I am, and then something that comes to mind. So it can be, I am loving, or I am a daughter, or I am an artist, I am funny. And then as you exhale through your nose, you'll just say, thank you. We'll do it for about 5 minutes. So at first, the things that you're thinking, I am, might be obvious qualities or descriptors about you, but as the time goes on, let kind of new things wash over you. For those of you that tend towards negative self-talk, my only rule is that the things you're describing yourself as are not negative to you, right? So only positive things. And if you find negative stuff creeping up, just thank you and let it go through your exhale breath. So finding yourself in a seated position, you can close your eyes or have your eyes half open, staring just beyond the edge of your nose. And just take a moment to scan the body, noticing any points of tension. Notice if you're leaning back into the past or forward, anticipating the future, and instead just kind of try to sit upright in the present moment. Notice if you're fidgeting your hands. I know I do that a lot. Notice any unnecessary movements or tension, and just start to truly arrive in the present moment. Take a slow, deep inhale through your nose. Feel your chest rise. And an even slower exhale through your nose. Let your chest fall. As you're ready, as you inhale through your nose, repeating silently to yourself, I am. And as you exhale through your nose, repeating silently to yourself, thank you. Inhale through your nose, I am, relaxing the jaw, the crown of the head, the throat, the chest. Exhale through your nose, thank you, relaxing your stomach, legs, palms. And continue at your own pace. Inhaling, I am, exhaling, thank you. Inhaling what fills you up, exhaling gratitude. For anyone joining late, we're doing a breathing exercise. As you inhale through your nose, you're invited to silently repeat to yourself, I am, and then use a descriptor such as a yogi, a daughter, loving, funny. And as you exhale, you'll say silently, thank you. So on the inhale breath through the nose, I am, and affirming something within yourself. And on the exhale breath, thank you. You're doing this for a little less than 2 minutes more, allowing waves of your own identity to wash over you, maybe even things that you wouldn't necessarily describe yourself as are coming to mind in the moment, just allowing yourself whatever that is. Coming into the present moment through your breath. Let this next breath be your last I am. Thank you. All right, and as you're ready, returning your breath to normal in and out through your nose. So from here, we're going to turn around and lie down on our back for everybody's favorite pose, banana pose. So you're gonna lie down on your back. And if you're joining late, the whole theme of this class today is slowing down and stepping back. So just take a moment as you lie down on your back to allow yourself to truly slow down and just kind of let yourself be a sloth for the next 50 minutes. You'll get a gentle stretch, but it doesn't have to be super intense energy. So as you lie on your back, picture a banana in your mind's eye, perhaps your favorite banana. Organic, fair trade, Chiquita, Dole, Trader Joe's, what have you. And we're gonna make a banana shape with our bodies. So bring your arms over your head and bring your feet together. And as you're ready, you'll bring your feet to the right side of your mat and your hands to the right side of your mat. So from a bird's eye view, you make a banana shape. We'll be here for 4 minutes. I will tell you halfway through, so you can adjust. Right off the bat, you're welcome to bend your arms and grab opposite elbows. You're welcome to cross one foot over the other or one hand over the other, or just have your feet and hands side by side. If you're not feeling any stretch down your body, you can bring, your hands and feet further to the right side of the room and maybe push your hips to the left. And if you're feeling a lot, you can always bring your hands and feet back closer to the center line. For those of you that practice Bikram 26 and 2 yoga with me, think of this as like a lying on your back version of half moon. So stretching the left side of the body and gentle compression to the right side of the body. In Yin Yoga, you want to fire on about 70% of your cylinders. So For sure, you want to stretch. We're working into connective tissue, but you should not be like pushing yourself to a point that's not sustainable for a long period of time, a point where you can't breathe, a point where you're like in pain. So if you ever need to adjust, please do so. And again, I'll tell you the halfway mark. So, you um, kind of if you need to go deeper or ease up. And right away, just notice how you're breathing and what stories you're telling yourself. Like what's playing across your mind right now? Is it relevant to the present moment? Is it useful to slowing down? See if you can be here in this breath. You're welcome to have your eyes open, a soft, fuzzy gaze towards the ceiling, or close your eyes, or eyes half closed. About halfway through, you're welcome to intensify your stretch by bringing hands and feet further to the right. Ease up a little bit by bringing them closer to the center. If you need to wiggle out for a second and then hop back in, that's great. You can also just like switch up your positioning, like opposite foot or hand on top. Maybe you're looking up towards the ceiling. Maybe you start to look to the right or left side of the room. So in some styles of yoga, it's like very precise. This one is more about sensation than depth and even form. Like there's no right answer. There are a few wrong answers as far as like if you can't breathe, if it hurts, but there's no one right way to do it. So just give yourself a little bit of freestyle permission here, and I'll be silent for the rest of this posture. But you might hear my neighbor playing guitar through the video. All right. And as you're ready, slowly, carefully take your time, return to center. So walking your hands and feet back to the center of your mat, and then slowly allowing your arms to come down by your sides. If you'd like, you can like roll out your butt or your shoulders, or maybe shake your head yes and no. And then find yourself lying on your back in some stillness. So we'll call this puddle pose. Think like, making a puddle shape with your body here. It's similar to Savasana, which many of you have practiced before. Savasana or corpse pose or dead body pose is kind of specific, like your arms and legs are close together. Puddle pose, again, is a little bit more like freestyle, just lying in a comfortable position. If it hurts your back to lie on your back, know that you can bend your knees up so your feet are on the floor. And you're also welcome to place a blanket under your lower back for support there. We'll do a puddle pose between every posture. It's just meant to reset the body. Sometimes, when we're in the posture, we're working deep into connective tissue, but we also maybe compress blood flow a little bit to one part of the body. So returning into a neutral position between postures allows for unrestricted blood flow through the body. All right, we'll do the other side. So again, feet close together, arms over your head, but never forcing the body. And this time you'll walk your feet to the left side of your mat and your arms to the left side of your mat, maybe pushing your hips to the right. We'll be here for 4 minutes. So again, you can have your eyes open or closed. You can look up towards the ceiling or maybe to the left side of the room. You can have one foot on top of the other, one, wrist in one hand. You can grab your elbows. So many options. And of note, what felt right on the other side might not feel right on this side, and that's okay. So we're not symmetrical. I'm sure most of you have heard me say that before, but we are not butterflies. Although there is a pose in Yin Yoga called butterfly, we as yogis are not butterflies. So we're not symmetrical, but arguably we are perfectly imperfect. And sometimes when we're go, 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 more like yang energy rather than yin energy, um, we don't notice that something has shifted or doesn't feel right. And that is often where we tend to get hurt. That can be like in the physical body, but also in mental or emotional, spiritual body. So in yin, through slowing down, we are afforded the opportunity to notice, like, hey, this doesn't feel the same on this side, or like something is amiss. And then, switch up what you're doing. And when we slow down, and when we give ourselves options to notice, like some other kind of interesting things come up, like, did you cross your right foot on top of your left foot on both sides of the posture? Like, that's interesting, right? Like, and then do you sit a certain way at work? And are you starting to connect dots about, how you carry yourself in yoga as an extension of how you're carrying yourself outside of the room? There's a saying, how you do one thing is how you do everything. Again, in yoga, you want to do, or in yin yoga, you want to do like 70%. So just giving yourself an opportunity to hang out and breathe without expectation or judgment, and going more for sensation than depth. About halfway through the pose, again, if you need to like wiggle out for a second or adjust what you're doing or stay just as you are, that's great. Just know we're about halfway through. Noticing how you're breathing. Noticing any tension that you're carrying in your body that just doesn't belong anymore. Maybe letting that tension go through your exhale breath. And then I'll just allow us to enjoy some stillness together, remembering that you are not alone. All right, and as you're ready, slowly, carefully walk your feet and hands back to center. And then as you're ready, bringing your arms back down by your sides. And again, if you need to like wiggle, shake out for a second, look left and right. It's great. And then returning to puddle pose. If lying in stillness in yoga feels great and meditative and relaxing, that's wonderful and normal. And if lying still in silence, words are hard. If lying still in silence in yoga is hard, like really hard, that's also really normal and wonderful, right? This is a practice. So if you find that like your mind races, just think of it as practicing returning your mind towards your breath. It doesn't have to be perfect. And again, if you're just enjoying this relaxation, that's wonderful too. But just know that however you're interacting with yourself in this moment is acceptable and normal, and you're not alone. All right. As you're ready, you're going to bend your knees up. So let your knees rest together, feet on the floor. Take a moment here. It feels good to the lower back. And from here, we are going to do happy baby pose, because who doesn't love a happy baby? So you're going to lift your legs off the floor. So your feet, soles of the feet are facing the ceiling. And from here, I'll give you a couple variations. The general idea is to bend your knees down towards the floor on either sides of your chest. So eventually you will grab your feet from the outside. So like I like to have my elbows inside of my knees and my feet, grabbing my feet from the outside with my hands. You're welcome to take a moment and glance at the camera. Know that you can also grab underneath your knees, your thighs, and pull down that way, or have your hands on top of your knees, or again, grabbing towards the feet. And you can take a second here to roll right and left, just rolling out the back, maybe straightening your right leg as you roll to the right, then returning to center, straightening your left leg as you roll to the left. A playful baby. You know, we have at least one mom with a newborn on this, so you get to be the happy baby for a few minutes. And all right, as you're ready, returning to center, and we're gonna hold here for 3 minutes. All right, so you wanna feel this in the inner thighs. The hips might feel good as the lower back starts to release down towards the floor. If you feel a bit like a roly-poly here, that's normal. Think about letting your shoulders soften, hips soften. Let your pelvic floor relax. Relax your jaw. Imagine even your neck softening down towards the floor. Space between the shoulders, the middle back. Slowly over time, simply by lying flat on our back in Savasana or puddle or happy baby pose, the vertebra, the space between the vertebra, the muscles that hold that up will start to soften a little bit, so your back gets to realign to the floor. And you're not forcing the body, just want a gentle stretch. About halfway through, if you need to adjust, either grabbing at a different part of your leg or your foot, or rolling it out side to side for a bit, lengthening the legs, maybe bringing the knees closer to your armpits, closer to the floor, or further away. Maybe placing a blanket under your lower back or hips or neck or head, whatever feels good to you. And I'll also tell you, I'll never forget the first yoga class I ever took. The teacher kept talking about how like hip openers release emotion, and I thought it was like so cheesy. But if you are feeling a sensation of emotional release right now, just know that that's very normal. Sometimes yoga teachers just say like hip openers release tension or emotion and they stop there, but there's scientific reasoning behind it, right? As far as like how you're carrying yourself, how you react to a stressful situation. Think about how you might like hunch forward, tense your shoulders, pull up on your pelvic floor, like tuck your tailbone a little bit, right? Like when we experience stress, we often round forward into literally a protective position. Like our body is creating a physical response even to an emotional trauma by rolling forward to protect our organs and protect the front of our body. And over time, that tension gets built up in the body. So when you start to release that tension, whether it's through opening your legs or through back bends, it can feel quite real. Take a slow inhale through your nose. Slow exhale through your nose. And we're slowly going to ease out of this one. Please go slowly. So if you have your hands on your feet, just release your hands. I like to actually place my hands on my outer knees and thighs, and with the help of my hands, I'm going to carefully bring my knees, feet back together, and then carefully return your feet down to the floor so that your knees are still bent up. Let your knees rest. In general, in yoga, I recommend exhaling through the nose because it helps to calm the central nervous system. Breathing in and out through the nose tells your body that there's no need to fight, flight, or freeze. But by the same token, especially when you're releasing out of these postures, if it feels good to exhale through your mouth, like please do so. Sometimes just by, we tell our body like, hey, I'm on the same page. That was intense for me too. So as you're ready, slowly lower your legs back down into puddle pose. And sometimes the release from the posture is as intense as the posture itself. And sometimes this puddle pose is really where the magic happens. So in Happy Baby, there is a little bit of compression to the hip capsule. So as you lie in puddle pose, think of lots of highly oxygenated blood rushing through your hip joint, pelvis, lower body area. A slow inhale through your nose. And a slow exhale through your nose. As you're ready, bend up your knees, feet on the floor, and then roll to the right into a fetal position for a moment. Take a breath here. Then you'll roll onto your stomach for a Sphinx pose. I don't know where my hairband went. Oh, okay, for Sphinx pose. So I will show you Sphinx pose. Think of a Sphinx in your eye. So we're gonna start, have your legs long, and you're just gonna start by bending your elbows in, so catching opposite elbow. Show you from the side. The idea here is you want a compression to your back and an opening through the chest, so it's a back bend. But for some folks with tight backs, even this can be intense. So just know that you're welcome to walk your arms forward as much as you want. For some people, a back bend might just be like this, right? Like laying your head down, just lying on your stomach is a back bend, and that's great. Eventually, you will walk your elbows in more. And if you want, for the traditional like Sphinx look, you can have your arms out to the side. So you actually start to look like a Sphinx. We'll hold here for 4 minutes. Right away, some things to keep in mind. If you have like tight shoulders or super flexible shoulders like me, try to keep the shoulders away from the ears. You are welcome to walk your hands forward more if that helps. Some other things to keep in mind, you can place a blanket or a pillow for a deeper stretch under your elbows, so you actually get further into the back bend, but you can also place it towards your head or under your chest and armpits for support there. So you're welcome to place it under your chest. If you are pregnant or it is super uncomfortable for you to be on your stomach right now, you are also welcome to place the blanket right here so that your stomach is off the floor, and you can use a second blanket under your forearms or a second pillow. But if you want your stomach to be off the floor, it's great to put blanket or a pillow just under your hips and thighs so that the stomach has some room to relax down. So lots of options. All right, I'm going to place it under my ribs. That helps me take some weight away from my shoulders. So back bends, one of my favorite quotes about yoga is like, all back bending heals the spine. But again, like if you're going to an intense point of a back bend that doesn't feel sustainable, that's not so great. But this idea of, again, we hunch forward so much, especially when we're stressed, just backward bending, a gentle compression to the vertebrae can be really therapeutic, especially for those of you with like sacrolumbar back pain, lower back pain. Again, too much is too much, too little is too little. So you're just figuring it out, making it up as you go along, trusting your instincts. A little more than halfway through. If you'd like to experiment by going deeper or easing up, that's wonderful. Again, to go deeper, you might place a blanket or pillows under your arms, so that'll get you even deeper into the back bend. And for anybody feeling super adventurous, you are welcome to go from Sphinx into what's called seal pose. So if you want a deep back bend, you would straighten your arms. So from the side, it'll look like this. And seal pose, I wouldn't recommend doing like for 4 minutes, but since we have like a little over a minute left, if you want to do seal, you're welcome to. And again, it's just deeper compression. When we bend our back, we also open our front, right? So our body's kind of like two sides to a coin. And by back bending, we also stretch the front of the body. So this is a gentle stretch to the fascia all along your chest. This fascia is like a spongy connective material that kind of holds everything in place. And through back bending, we also get to stretch the fascia out through the chest, the front of the body. That also alleviates some tightness. Take a slow inhale through your nose. Slow exhale through your nose. We're going to carefully lower down onto our stomachs. So we're going to do a stomach savasana or belly savasana. If lying on your stomach is not comfortable, please take puddle pose on your back. For belly savasana, I'll give you a few options. You can have your elbows out and your hands in with your head lying down. You can also look to the right with your left ear on the towel, look to the left with your right ear on the towel. You can have your arms up or down by your sides. I would recommend turning your toes in and your heels out, so it's a little bit of an inverse opening to your pelvis. And if you find that when you're lying on your stomach, your heels are turning in and your toes are turning out, that's just a sign of like an externally rotated pelvis, right? So maybe turning the toes in will help to keep your hips in line when you walk around. So we're gonna, if you're looking to the right, I'll cue you halfway through so you can look to the left. I'm just holding here. Lying on our stomachs against inverse opening for the hips, chest. Looking right or left should be, a gentle stretch through the neck and shoulder, but never a point of pain. Send deep belly breaths in and out through your nose to massage the front of your body. Breathe deep into any point of tension. Let the floor hold you up. Take a slow inhale through your nose, slow exhale through your nose. And if you're looking to the right, look to the other side. So look to the left, right ear on the towel. Otherwise, staying where you are. If you'd like to adjust, please do so. Take a slow inhale through your nose. Slow exhale through your nose. Okay. If you're looking right or left, bring your chin forward so your head is on straight. Place your hands under your shoulders. Carefully push yourself up, and we're going to go into child's pose. So for child's pose, you will open your knees and keep your feet close together. And you will carefully sink your hips down and walk your arms forward. Now, having the arms forward might be intense. If you ever feel tingling in your fingers, that's a sign of a compressed nerve. So you might want to open your arms wider. You can bend your elbows in. You can also do fetus pose with your arms down by your side, which is a delight. Right away, if you're feeling pain under your knees, your toes, your ankles, please don't hesitate to use a blanket or roll up your mat for some extra padding. And you can also place a blanket like underneath your head, your forehead, underneath your chest for a little extra support, whatever feels good for you. We're going to hold here for 3 more minutes. Imagine your hips sinking down towards your heels. Let go of any stretch through the shoulders, any tension in the shoulders and chest. Imagine creating space between each and every vertebrae. Again, going at about 70%. About 45 seconds left. If you need to adjust or change your position or stay right where you are, just know not too much longer left. Right. Take a slow inhale through your nose, slow exhale through your nose. Carefully take your time. Slowly start to walk your hands back towards your knees. Carefully push yourself up and then turn around on your back for puddle pose. And again, if you need to bend your knees up for puddle or place pillow or blanket under your lower back, it's great. Come roll out a couple times right and left, and then just carefully lying down. Notice how you're breathing. Notice any thoughts playing across your mind. Let them go through your exhale breath. Thinking is inevitable, but where we direct our thoughts and our energy is something that we can work on. Through yoga, meditation, simply breathing and being still. Some people describe it as quieting the mind, but I view it more as just like honing and directing where we send thoughts. And as we start to be able to hone what we're thinking about in a yoga class, then maybe we start to be able to direct our energy effectively outside of the room as well. So next we're going to do a spine twist, and I'll give you a couple different options. You can bend your knees up, so feet are on the floor, knees resting together. You can have your arms out to the sides or cactus, like goalposts. And as you're ready, start to bring your knees to the right side of the room. So one day, right knee touches the floor, left knee stacks on top of right knee, left foot stacks on top of right foot. You are also welcome to keep your right leg straight. So it's just the left knee that's bending. Do try to keep two shoulders on the floor. You are welcome to put a blanket or pillow underneath your knees, between your knees, underneath your ankles. You can keep the back of your head on the floor, either with eyes closed or a soft gaze at the ceiling, or for a full spine twist, you can look to the left, bringing the left ear closer to the floor. Hold here for 3 minutes. So your spine moves naturally in 6 directions: right, left, backward, forward, twisting to each side. And in a yoga class, generally move it in all 6 directions, which I think is pretty neat. And these spine twists are a really great release. To me, they're almost like chiropractic adjustments, and sometimes you might actually hear your back pop. Anytime your back or another joint pops, it's a release or a shifting of synovial fluid, a gas between the joints. It's not a bad thing. But spine twists can be great for that shifting of the synovial fluid. Helps to kind of reset your back. Notice any tension in your shoulders, your hands. And notice if what you're doing isn't serving you. So again, maybe lying still is easy for you, enjoyable, or maybe it's really tough. Maybe you're so bent on lying still that something hurts right now and you're being a little bit stubborn about adjusting. Yin is an opportunity to discern between I need to adjust because like this doesn't feel right versus like I need to adjust and fix everything every 5 seconds because I cannot sit still and I want to distract myself. And for those of you that find it very hard to sit still, I am right there with you. That is arguably one of the biggest reasons that I practice yoga. So just know that you're not alone. With about 1 minute left, you're welcome to adjust if you need to, maybe going deeper, adding a prop, taking a prop away. Take a slow inhale through your nose, slow exhale through your nose. If you're looking to the left, bring your head back to center first. And then we're going to very slowly, carefully ease out of this one. So I actually like to place my hands on my knees or thighs, slowly, carefully take your time rolling your left hip back down. Can keep one or both knees bent for a minute just to let the back settle. Arms down by your sides. And then when you're ready, slowly allowing your feet to relax down. Again, you can roll out your butt or your shoulders if you need to, maybe look right and left for a second. And then returning to puddle pose, noticing any sensations in the body or in your spirit that occur as you release from that posture. And we'll do the other side. So bending your legs again. So knees up, feet on the floor. Take a moment resting here. You can have your arms out to either side or cactus bent like goalposts. As you're ready, slowly bringing your knees to the left side this time. Again, you can have both legs bent, so right knee on top of left knee, right foot on top of left foot. You can also straighten your left leg, so just the right knee bending. You can place a prop under your knee, between your knees, under your hip, your shoulder, your feet, between your feet. Whatever would feel like a really like, I'm treating myself, just treat yourself, remembering that this side might feel different. And then we'll hold here in stillness. And you can look up towards the ceiling or look to the right side of the room, bringing the right ear towards the floor. Try to even out both shoulders. So from a bird's eye view, one shoulder wouldn't be higher than the other. Let your palms get heavy and let your breath carry you. A little less than a minute left. If you need to adjust, deepen, ease up, stay right where you are, do what you need to do, what your body is telling you to do. Softening through your chest, your hands. Relax your forehead, your jaw. Feel the floor holding you up. Take a slow inhale through your nose. Slow exhale through your nose. And as you're ready, carefully rolling back to center. Slowly allow your legs down, arms down, huddle pose. Again, just taking a moment to really notice what's going on in your body, in your heart and mind. Give yourself an opportunity to slow down. As you're ready, bend your legs up, feet on the floor. Carefully rolling off to your right in the fetal position. And then pushing yourself back up. Our last active posture is called, well, it's funny, in Yin it's called swan. In other styles of yoga, it's called pigeon, and swan is just so much lovelier than pigeon. And we're not going to hold this one for very long because of time, but also because it can be kind of intense. So just know that this will be short. You're going to start in tabletop. And whichever side you choose, I'm going to bring my left knee towards my left wrist. Keep the left knee bent, and then slowly straighten your right leg. So from the side, it looks like this. Couple of options. You're welcome to place a blanket under your hip, under knee or foot. You can do what's called sleeping swan, where you fold forward. You can do proud swan with your hands behind your back, which is a back bend. You can have your hands on the floor. And if this position is not happening today, no problem. You can also be on your butt with one leg bent, hands behind you, so you still get the same opening. Or you can lie on your back in figure 4. So it's a great hip opener. And there's lots of ways to get the same opening. So we'll just stay here for a little bit, breathing in and out through the nose. For sure, you want to feel a nice stretch. This is also great for anybody experiencing sciatic pain, sciatica, like this is your posture. If you don't know what sciatica is, you don't have it. So take a moment to just be really grateful that you don't have it. About halfway through, you can stay right where you are. You can try folding forward, going backwards, using a prop, whatever feels good to you. Take a slow inhale through your nose. Slow exhale through your nose. Take your time, carefully, slowly, without rush. Place your hands on the floor, push yourself up. Coming back into tabletop, and then lowering onto your stomach for belly savasana. Again, you're welcome to lie on your back if lying on your stomach is not comfortable. And you know the options. You can have elbows out, hands in, head on the floor. You can look right or left, and I'll cue you halfway through Savasana petal pose so that if you are looking to one side, you can look to the other side. If you're looking to one side, switch your head, looking to the other side. And if you need to adjust in any way, please do so. All right, as you're ready, bring your chin forward if you're looking to one side. Place your hands under your shoulders, carefully with control, push back up into tabletop. And we will do the other side of swan for our last active posture. So other side, other knee towards the wrist, slowly over time lengthening the back leg. One thing to keep in mind is the leg that's lengthened. For me, it's the left leg. Push that hip forward so the hips stay square. You can have your heel close to your hip. For extra brownie points, you can have your shin eventually parallel to your mat. And remember, you can place a prop under your hips, under a knee, a foot. You can have your hands in front of you, beside you, proud swan, behind you, sleeping swan, folding forward. So many options. About halfway through, you can go deeper, ease up, change what kind of swan you are, whatever that means. No black swans, please. And if you've seen that movie, no Natalie Portman swans. Take a slow inhale through your nose. Slow exhale through your nose. Slow inhale through your nose. Slow exhale through your nose. As you're ready, carefully, slowly, without rush, push yourself back up. And then turn around, lie down on your back for final petal pose, final Savasana. And you can roll out your hips and shoulders, lie in a position that is comfortable for you in this moment. Stay here as long as you'd like, at least for 3 breaths. As you breathe, as you sit still, notice how you're feeling in this moment. Thank yourself for taking some time to slow down and step back. You take a moment to silently thank your fellow yogis. It's so fun. I just think there's something so magical about knowing that we're practicing together, even if we're not physically together. I just love knowing that I'm here with all of you. So thank you all. And take a moment to thank yourself again. So important to take some time to slow down, to breathe, to relax, to loosen the shoulders and chest. So good for you for making time. This is a gift that you have given yourself, and nobody can take that away from you.